Okay, guys, we're going to talk about something very unique. We've talked about plant cells. We've talked about the chlorophyll, the chloroplast, the stomata, the exchanging carbon dioxide and oxygen. But now we're going into what's called a single-celled animal. These single-celled animals do everything we do. They move, they reproduce, they eat, they breathe in oxygen, they breathe out carbon dioxide. They do exactly everything we do. Now, the first one I want to talk about, I just love this little guy. And he looks something like this. He also has a nucleus. This is his nucleus. These little hair-like structures, these are how he moves. They're called cilia, and that's his method of locomotion. That means how he moves, method of locomotion. And what he does, and I'm going to show you some video clips of how he moves, because he flips them about and it makes them swirl, swirl, swirl. Now he lives, for the most part, he lives in fresh water, fresh pond water, you can find him. And he is what we call a paramecium. Pronounce it again, paramecium. The paramecium is single cell. He is an animal. He does everything we do. He even goes through reproduction. His asexual means of reproduction, asexual means involves only one, is what we call fission. Just like when we talked about the bacterium cell, he splits in half. Part of him goes to one side, part to the other side. The nucleus gets split. Done. Involves one. And we're going to see the paramecium in fission as well when we look at some prepared slides. The other means is a sexual means of reproduction. And if you remember, sexual means involves two. And it's called conjugation. Conjugation. All right, next little guy we're going to talk about. Let me get this out of the way so I can get in the page. Here we go. Next guy. This, well, I really like the paramecium, but probably this guy is my favorite. He's called an amoeba. And I think they made movies about this guy. His shape changes as he moves. This is his nucleus. These things that he moves with are called pseudopodia. Pseudopodia means false. Pseudo means false. And podia means foot. False foot. That is his pseudopodia. False foot. That is his mechanism of locomotion. And what he does is he puts one of these out, like this, and then he flows into it. Then he puts another one out, and he flows into it. And you can see all the cytoplasm flowing into the foot. And hopefully when we get the live ones, you'll be able to see that as well. But that's literally the way he moves. That's also the way he obtains his food. That's the way he eats as well. He takes his pseudopodia, and I'll show you some examples of it, and he flows around it. Let's pretend that's his nucleus. And he flows around it to get his food. He uses his pseudopodia as well to obtain his food. His method of reproduction at this point is also fission, asexual method of reproduction. This is also, a pseudopodia is plural, pseudopodium is singular. This is singular. That's plural. You'll also hear it referred to as pseudopod sometimes, or the pseudopods, or if people are shortening it. The next guy I want to talk about, another page here, hold on. Come on, page. There we go. He is the most unique of all these single-celled animals. Up to now, the amoeba is one cell. The paramecium is one cell. The euglena is the smallest one we're going to see. And the euglena looks like this. It has this ponytail-looking thing on it. It also has a nucleus. Then it has these little green things inside. Now, up to now, we've learned that if it's green, it's producing chlorophyll. Well, guess what? This guy, these are chloroplasts. And chloroplasts hold chlorophyll. Alright? The chloroplasts hold chlorophyll. If they hold chlorophyll, that means this guy can produce his own food when in sunlight. But this is also an animal. Unique why? Because it has characteristics of plant characteristics. Sorry, guys. Here, my brain gets ahead of my writing. Has characteristics of both plant and animals. And we'll talk about the different characteristics. We'll break it down in just a minute. Method of locomotion is this ponytail thing. It's called a flagellum. The flagellum, he whips around, whoosh, whoosh, and that's how he gets from place to place, is he whips it around. He is very, very, very small, and when we look at him, he's a lot harder to find under the microscope than the amoeba and the paramecium are going to be. But they're bright green because of the chloroplasts. Now, let's break down how this guy is a plant. Well, we just found out. It has chlorophyll, which means makes its own food. How is it an animal? Well, being an animal, it's breathing oxygen. So O2, it breathes. It eats. When it's not making its own food, it captures its own food. It also reproduces like an animal, which means this method of reproduction for this animal is fission, asexual. So it reproduces like the animal, eats oxygen, reproduces, and the flagellum, it moves. I mean, when's the last time you saw a plant moving across the floor? Not too often, right, guys? So it also moves like an animal. Now, all of these single-celled animals, let me get another page in. are called protozoa. And what protozoa means, just what it says, single-celled animals. Literally, folks, these animals do everything we do. Eat, breathe, move, reproduce. Everything we do in one cell. Your multicellular, millions and billions of these cells takes to do what they can do in one cell. All right, guys, that's it.